Joining us now to discuss that and much more, Uncle B, Blaine Fowler. He will be the star of a brand new episode of After Further Review, and with 3 other guys tonight, I think.
Let's not even mention them.
Blaine Fowler and the guys on After Further Review. Let's start with our Twitter question. What needs to happen for you this season for you to forget, or at least be able to get over the losses to Wisconsin and LSU and maybe Utah, Blaine?
I don't get over. I'm still not over the loss to Air Force when we opened our stadium in 1982.
Oh.
So when we punted the ball and it went out of bounds on the 1-yard line and we were ahead in the game and a field goal wasn't going to win it, and I turned to Robbie and said, "Oh, we got this now. There's no way Air Force running the option is going to go 99 yards in less than 3 minutes." And they did. And we lost when we expanded in the stadium. So if I'm not over that one yet, I don't know how I'm going to get over these.
Didn't winning the national championship make things feel a little bit better?
When I say not get over them, I don't forget the losses, just like I don't forget the great wins. You know, because I look at them from a more perspective of, okay, what happened here and how do they get better and you know, could they compete with a team like this? The Wisconsin game is an interesting game because I came out of the LSU game, and for AFR, I have to watch every single play on the coach's film. So I get to go kind of have an objective look at how they really were. And I came out of that, and I thought, wow, they didn't get manhandled. They had a lot of assignment errors on both sides of the ball. And LSU is talented enough that if you leave a guy unblocked, he makes the tackle. Offensively, Darius Geis is so good that if you're out of one gap, he finds the gap, and he goes for 12 yards. You know, so LSU really took advantage of BYU errors, and BYU didn't play a great game in that game. And you thought, well, could they beat LSU? Talent-wise, they don't match up, but it could have been a lot closer. The Utah game, you go back and watch that, and you go, man, speed-wise, strength-wise, very, very evenly matched teams. BYU has the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win it. They got to do one of their patented 2-minute drives. They drop 2 balls, and they can't even get a first down, and they lose it. And you go, wow, that's 2 years in a row that BYU stood toe-to-toe with a team that should be similar to them, and they don't take advantage of it. So they stayed in it. So you're going, okay, defense is good. Then Wisconsin. So I go and watch the film of Wisconsin, and I come away and I go, wow, we were actually where we were supposed to be most of the time on defense, and they just manhandled them. And then offensively, they were nearly flawless. The only incomplete was a drop ball. And so you look at that team, and I walk away from that, and I go, okay, based on breaking down the film, that's one of the best football teams I've ever seen come into Provo, period. And it's a team that if they play well is capable of doing huge things this year. So I come away from that one with a really high regard for Wisconsin and an appreciation for how good that football team is. Now, BYU didn't play flawless. They're playing a brand new quarterback. They still made some mistakes. But if BYU plays flawless against Wisconsin and we play them 100 times, we probably would lose 100 times. That's the gap right now.
Whoa.
And if they play LSU and they play flawless, they might win 10 of 100, right? If they play Utah flawless, they probably win flawless. And I don't think Utah has to play flawless to beat BYU, and BYU doesn't have to play flawless to beat Utah because they're more evenly matched right now.
Clearly.
So maybe Utah wins 60 because of the mental edge, and BYU wins 40, you know, right now. The rest of the schedule, with the exception of Mississippi State, are games where if BYU plays flawless, Mississippi State would have to not play good.
Yes.
Right? That's how good they are.
They need to not
That's how
play
big
well.
the talent gap is. So they need to not play well, and BYU needs to play flawless. The rest of the games, Boise State's similar to Utah. BYU matches up okay with them physically and speed-wise and all that. They don't have to play perfect to beat Boise State. They just have to play well. You know, and there's some, you know, the rest of the schedule, there's some teams they don't even have to play well and they can win. And so to me, I mean, I look at it relative. The goal is to get close to where Wisconsin is over the next couple years as we upgrade the talent on the offensive and defensive lines, as they get more physical and they understand this offense. Wisconsin runs kind of what BYU and Ty wants to run. But that takes 2 or 3 years. When you're changing from a spread scheme and the kind of guys you recruit to that to a run-based play-action pro-style offense, it's different body types and everything. It takes a little bit to grow into that.
But fans don't want to wait. Nobody wants to wait. And the reality is it's going to be a wait.
So I know it will take time. And we have to remember the teams are winning 11 and 12 games in the past for BYU, including the ones that I played on, didn't play this kind of schedule. You know, so if this team wins 8 in the second year of a complete makeover of the offense, I'm going to go, okay, that's because the schedule's better than we thought. I knew Wisconsin was good, but I didn't know they were this good. They're really good. We knew Utah's good. They're always good. You know, we knew LSU was going to be talented, and that was a long shot. We had no idea Mississippi State was going to be this good.
Right. And we didn't anticipate that the BYU offense would struggle like they have because that's not what we saw in fall camp.
Right. So we have to kind of adjust our expectations when you're playing this kind of a schedule. And so most teams would go, man, brand new coaches, completely different philosophy offensively. For the first couple of years, if we could win and go to a bowl game and win 7 games and go to a bowl game, that'd be great. And we're going, they've got to win 10. They've got to win 11. Now, I thought the way the schedule's set up that maybe they had a chance. I thought they had a chance to beat Utah at home. You know, I didn't know how good Mississippi State was going to be, but I never really thought that was a big possibility. But so now I'm going, whoa, Mississippi State, they looked amazing the other night. Are they better than LSU? I think they're similar to LSU. LSU played horrifically in that game. So
they played a BYU game against LSU.
They played terrible. I think talent-wise they're very similar. The difference is Mississippi State has a veteran quarterback that is dynamic and really played well in that game. So Mississippi State's very similar to LSU. So if BYU plays a perfect game, they can be closer, but that's going to be a tough one. But everybody else on the schedule, including Boise State, those are games that BYU has a chance to win. In fact, some of them they really are just – there's some bad teams on the rest of the schedule.
Yes.
East Carolina's bad.
San Jose State is bad.
Fresno State,
San
UNLV,
Jose State
UMass.
is bad.
Hawaii's going to be an interesting game.
Because Hawaii always plays with passion over there, and they can throw it around. And that's
Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
That scares me to
right.
death.
So what's my expectation is that they lose no more than 2 down the stretch, and hopefully they lose 1 down the stretch. I'd be really pleased if they lost only 1. I'd be happy if they lost only 2 down the stretch.
Last year was only 1 down the stretch.
Yeah, and they're capable of that. They're capable of that.
You look at the back 9, there's a lot of wins there. There's 6 or 7 wins, if not 8.
And that falls into the stat of the day that you brought up.
We were talking about this. So in BYU's back 9 in independence games, they win 72%, basically going 7-2. So Wisconsin and LSU happened. Those are going to be there forever. So if BYU went 7-2 in the back 9, would that help you feel better?
I'd be fine with it. I feel like the progress is right where it needs to be at that point. I'd be fine with it. So, because realistically, I know what it takes to kind of change over what they're doing. Now, remember, I think we talked about this last week or the week before. We're not only in a situation, so they're like, well, Utah's quarterback's a sophomore. Yeah, but he's been there. And they have a new offensive coordinator. Yeah, but they're basically running the same concepts. A little different terminology. They're being more aggressive in those concepts, but they're still running zone read.
It's not a wholesale change.
They're still running option pass. They're still running the same basic concepts. BYU's going from a spread, hurry up offense where you're asking your linemen to pretty much just go play side and cut to we're going to double team at the line of scrimmage, combo block down to the second level, establish the run, play a lot of 2-back sets with 2 wide receivers, go back to featuring a tight end, and pass block. It's a completely different concept, one that I think BYU can recruit to and will work, and Ty knows that. So Ty's not impatient. Are they where he wants them to be? Of course not. Kalani's frustrated with that. They want him to be further along. But that doesn't mean that you go, you know what? Let's just go back to running the spread. Because in the long term, BYU can recruit the big 6'6", 6'7", long, nasty offensive linemen that can do what they want them to do. They have them in the program, but they're freshmen and sophomores, and they need to put 20 pounds on. They can recruit big physical fullbacks and running backs that can get yards, and they can get NFL-style quarterbacks, and they can get NFL-style tight ends. What they're trying to do fits what they can recruit, but it's going to take a little bit to get there. We need to be patient and trust Ty in the process. I think Ty still understands football. You know, he understands what he wants to do. He's frustrated that it's not going better. And then defensively, I think they're fine. But it's hard to put that much pressure on the D when the offense is struggling. And you know what? Pretty much most teams in the country, with maybe the exception of 4 or 5, will struggle mightily against Wisconsin unless Wisconsin comes out and just lays an egg. If Wisconsin plays perfect, which they pretty much did against BYU,
who's going to beat them?
Nobody. They can beat anybody in the country if they play that flawless. Period.
They're way better than LSU.
There'll be teams who get a pass
I started
rush
watching
against
every individual guy on the O-line and on D-line. They're phenomenal. Like, they're really good. So I walk away from there, and I'm disappointed BYU didn't play well. But part of me has to go, hey, let me tip my cap to how good they are and how well they've established this thing. Remember, they played 6 top 12 teams last year, and they beat 4 of them. and the other 2 were close. They ended up in the top 10. They're in preseason top 10. This is a really good football team, one of the best we've ever seen in Cougar Stadium.
Okay, so with the quarterback situation, Tanner Mangum injured, TBD on how long he's out, right? Bo Hodge in. Can BYU still run its pro style, or do they need to cater to Bo Hodge's skill set? And what did you see in the film against Wisconsin?
So I saw that he's capable of running what Ty wants to run. And so now you can add on to it, though. So you don't go back and say, hey, let's go back to the hurry up and run spread option. But what you can do is you can put some quarterback draws in. You can move him around with more play action where he's rolling out because he seems to be really comfortable on the run. And it also, as a young guy, gets him out from behind the line of scrimmage where your vision's a little bit better. And the other thing that nobody talks about is when you roll out, as a quarterback, they tell you, just forget the whole backside of the field. Don't even read over there. So instead of having to read the whole field, you say to the quarterback, let's roll you out, and you only need to read a half or a third of the field. It's just easier to make quicker decisions. And so
the Mark Wilson theory.
Yeah, exactly. So I think with him, you don't change what you're doing. You just add a few things that take advantage of his skill set, and you continue to develop this offense the way you want it to. And what Bo showed me was he's very capable. He made a few mistakes like you would expect him to do. His first throw was a really nervous, I'm not sure I want to throw it in here or not, almost out of my hand, can I grab it back throw. I've had those.
There were a lot of dashes in between.
I've had them, and I'm just a crappy guy. Steve Young's had him. Jim McMahon's had him. Ty Detmer's had him. Robbie Bosco's had him. Ask Robbie. I mean, Robbie was talking about it the other day. He and I laugh about it. His first throw, so that was basically Bo's first throw. Robbie's first throw, we're playing Pittsburgh back there. They're ranked number 2 in the country. The first throw of the game I threw, and I didn't have time to think about it because I'm running halfback option pass, and I drop back, and Chris Dolman hits me in the face so hard I can't even think. I just huck it out there, and Glenn Kozlowski makes a diving catch, right? So now we're going to run a traditional play. So Robbie drops back. I'm standing right next to Mike Holmgren, and he literally throws it 15 yards over the top of our head into the first row of the stands. So Mike turns to me, Holmgren, and he looks at me, he goes, that wasn't very good, was it? And I just said, no, it wasn't, Coach. No, it wasn't.
And that led Holmgren to a Super Bowl win.
Right. And then Robbie settled in, and he played great, and he played phenomenally the whole rest of the year. So of course he had a throw where he was like, oh, what am I doing? I expect that out of him. The balance of what he did against a phenomenal football team, I thought was pretty dang good. And I thought Tanner's making progress in these times. I feel bad for Tanner because I feel like he needs games.
These are progression games.
He needs games to get better.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have to sit until he gets healthy, and that's a shame. But at the same time, Bo's going to get out there. Now he's going to have progress as he plays in games in this offense. So I think that they're just fine. I think that they're just fine. They need to get better and sharpen things up. Ty's disappointed. They will get better. The competition gets easier, with the exception of Mississippi State, and they're going to be just fine.
Blaine, great stuff. More with Mr. Fowler, Uncle B on After Further Review, and 3 other guys tonight, 7 Eastern, 5 Mountain Time.
Yeah, 3 other guys.
Blaine and the
Blaine
3 other
and the
guys.
3.
It's the name of your new band, Blaine.
The Wise Guys.
Yeah.